Hey guys, thank you for joining me for another video. This is my third of 5 pickup videos that I have on the go. And remember when I said in the Black Lantern one that it was a shame I had waited all year for these figures to come out, only for it to happen at like the worst time in my life where I couldn't get excited about it. Well, this is round 2 of that, because these are my pickups from the WWE Greatest Hits Elite set. Now, when I first heard about this idea, I thought it had to be disappointing. I thought there was no way Mattel were actually going to give me what I wanted, kind of thing. Like, I figured it was going to be, like Rey Mysterio and all this other stuff that was actually not really worth remaking. In my opinion, anyway. Like, for me, it wasn't really worth it. But then when they revealed the actual figures, I thought, you know what? This is a really solid set, and I couldn't have... It's an ice cream van. Anyone want anything from the ice cream van? It'll be out there for a couple of minutes anyway. Just let me know if you fancy anything. Then when they revealed the actual set, I thought, this is actually a really good set. In my opinion, like, I don't know how this was for other people, but I thought they did a great job with this set. And it's specifically for me as well. Like, I couldn't have designed this better unless... I would have only designed this better myself if they said to me, you do this, you plan this set, you put whatever you want into it. Because the things like the Rey Mysterio and the Undertaker and stuff like that, they're things that you can put in to sell figures. They're not what I would have picked. But, in a logical place where you're trying to design a line of figures to sell, you'd probably put stuff like that in. I'd have maybe worked in a John Cena or something. Maybe the John Cena in the red trunks, the one? That exclusive one, etc, etc. But the point is, half of this series were elites that I really wanted. Now, let's talk about Rikishi. I've spoken to someone about Rikishi recently. Like, who was that? Don't know. Yeah, I definitely remember having a conversation with someone who said that when they were a kid, they really liked Rikishi. And I was like, wrestling knowledge? I like it. Rikishi, obviously, when I was a kid, loved Rikishi, loved Too Cool. And I couldn't really get a figure of him. I probably could have bought a Titantron Live one off eBay, but I didn't really want to. I guess I never really thought to, and I never did. I got Titantron Live Too Cool off eBay, but I guess I never really picked up the Rikishi. And then one day, from a YouTube comment, because this is back in the day when kids didn't know what figures were coming out. This was, 2009, 2010 probably. I saw from a YouTube comment that Rikishi was getting released in Classic Superstars. And I was so excited for this. And yes, I could have Googled it. I could have searched it up at the time. But again, this is early internet days. Or not early internet days, but it's early like social media days. It's before everyone is just Googling everything and searching everything. And I didn't think, let's look up when this is supposed to come out. And it's the UK anyway, so we never get anything on the right time. We don't know when things are going to turn up. So I was waiting for this Rikishi figure. I was so excited. And one day, I remember it very, very, very vividly. One of my favorite toy hunt moments from when I was a child. Walking to Forbidden Planet International and seeing Rikishi hanging there in the Classic Superstar selection, which they used to have loads of. They used to have loads of wrestling figures. Now they just have garbage. But picking him off the shelf and buying him for myself. And I remember it was really close to Christmas, and me and my mum went to Marks and Spencer Cafe for lunch and everything. And I remember just being like, that's it, I've got Rikishi. And obviously, the body shape of the Classic Superstars figure was far too big, and everybody knew it at the time. But it was the best we had, and I maintain that the head sculpt on the Classic Superstars Rikishi is possibly the best one he's ever had. But anyway, that was one thing I was excited to replicate when this set came out, was going into Smith's and seeing that Rikishi on the shelf again. Of course, as things have developed, I have started working in a toy shop and realised that that was not going to be the case. I wasn't going to stumble across them organically, if that was ever going to be the case. But what actually happened was, I knew these were coming in November. I knew they'd been pushed back to November. But what I didn't realise is how early in November they were meant to come out. So one day, 1st of November, 2nd of November, I was pulling my ladders down the aisle in the toy shop where I work. That does not have a name. And I saw these hanging there on the shelves, and I was like, no way, they're out. And I picked up my greatest hits Rikishi, and the box has gotten a little bit damaged in storage. So maybe we'll have to open him. This is an elite that will be getting opened no matter what, because it's a shame really, because I actually kind of like the greatest hits packaging and everything. I think these figures look really cool in package, but I will never get rid of this. This is a keeper. I mean, never say never. When I'm an old man, maybe I'll get rid of it, but this right now is a keeper. You know, this is going to be unboxed and kept no matter what. Even if I sold off all of my wrestlers except the keepers, this is a keeper, so that would be staying. So, yeah, that's really, really cool. A lot of people are quite down on this head scan. I think it's a good likeness of Rikishi. The eyes are very narrow, is my main complaint. As open mouth head scans go, I don't think this is too bad. I just noticed there's a little slight bit of paint damage on his sarong, which is a bit of a shame, but I digress. Who else was in the greatest hits set? Well, you know who else was? A figure that I always wanted when I was a kid, and I couldn't get a classic superstars figure of them. And then when elites came out, I never got an elite of them either. And you know, just like when I was trying to get an elite Rikishi, I was looking for them. I was trying to get them on bid, trying to pull a fast one on the other figure collectors and get a cheap one on eBay, but it never quite came off. So unfortunately, when the greatest hits set came out, I had to commit myself to finally picking up a figure of Jake the Snake Roberts. And I will go on record as saying I don't like this figure. This is my least favourite Jake Roberts figure possibly ever. And this one has been remade because it is the rarest. And I can't argue with that. But what I can argue with is that just because it's the rarest doesn't make it the most interesting. What I also dislike about it is that the head sits so high up on the neck on all of these. I was me and Rich at work were just stood there comparing them all at which one's head seemed to be on right the most. The head is where I don't like the figure. I don't like the cheesy expression. It reminds me of, you know, that Katy Perry meme where she has the short hair and it's like when you farted and you're waiting for someone to smell it. That's what this facial expression puts me in mind of. But we got Jake Roberts, that's the important part. And it's a good thing we did. Because like with everything, I put off buying these initially because we had a 20% off staff discount event coming up in November. So I put off buying these, and then it became very, very clear that they weren't going to last that long. And these Jake Robertses didn't last the morning after I bought mine. I bought this at the end of my shift. I came in, and by the end of the morning, the rest of them had gone. So it's a good thing I did. So we finally got Jake Roberts. That's going to be great for the Legends division. But it's not the thing that I am most excited about. Because, like I say, I'm not massively happy with that figure. I'm happy to have Jake Roberts, but I'm not very massively happy with having that Jake Roberts. So that takes the sting out a little bit. The thing I am most excited about is another elite, another legend that I couldn't get a figure of when I was a kid. I couldn't get the classic superstar when I was a kid. And again, missed the elites when they came out, if we even got them over here. So when they announced that they were remaking this, of all of them, Bam Bam Bigelow, that was so expensive before this remake, there's no words. I was so excited for this figure. I was so excited for this remake of this Bam Bam with the updated head scan and everything. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And we have Bam Bam Bigelow. And there's a little rip on his box as well, so maybe we'll have to open him too. It's a shame, really. These ones would look pretty good on display, but I guess they're all ruined, so we better get them NW opened, because we have 110 NW openings to do. But yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow, what an incredible figure. And I'm not going to count out the possibility of buying Rey Mysterio when it's down to a tenner, and The Rock. but I actually want The Rock because it was a best of attitude figure, which I thought was a really good line, rather than because of the figure itself. So that's really silly. But there's loads of them too, so there's a very real chance I might pick up both of them at some stage. The Undertaker we've already sold out of, and I just thought it was kind of a boring figure. I've already got the Ministry Network Spotlight one, so I didn't feel like I needed that. But yeah, we finally got Bam Bam Bigelow. We finally got Jake the Snake Roberts. And we finally got an Elite Rikishi. And while I was picking these up, I was having a conversation with a guy who was like, you know, he was telling me that he liked Jeff Hardy and stuff. He was looking at them for his kids and all that stuff. And I was stood there comparing all of the paint jobs on the Bam Bam Bigelows. And I was like, yeah, don't be like me, mate. Yeah, you sleep a lot easier at night when you're not inspecting every little aspect of the figure and so on and so forth. But yeah, we had a nice little conversation about figures. I always enjoy doing that. But that was not the last thing that I picked up that day. These had just been reduced to £8 at the time, so I thought, you know what, we'll pick one up, and if my friend wants it, he wants it. If he doesn't want it, I'll get some use out of it. It was only £7.20 with me discount. I picked up a Wardlow. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of the AEW figures that went on clearance that I really had much interest in. But again, I thought, you know, a friend might want this. Otherwise, it's only under £8, so that's not too bad. So for the whole lot of figures here, we got, you know, we got 10% off on everything as well. So we saved a fair bit of money on them. And I think this is really cool. It's a shame that I couldn't get really excited about these figures coming out just because of the circumstances in my life at the moment. But that's the way it goes sometimes. We can't enjoy everything. And at the end of the day, one day I'll be so happy that I have these figures. Maybe not the Wardlow. That's probably not even going to end up being mine. But one of these days, I'm going to be so happy that I've got Bam Bam Bigelow in my Classic Superstars fed. You know, I'm going to be so overjoyed that they remade this. And that's going to be a great day. And I am going to try and tidy up so that I can even get my fed set up again and then film some stuff, hopefully. But we'll see how that goes. That's my pickups from the Greatest Hits set and from AEW clearance. Thank you guys for watching. We're getting these regular uploads out now. I'm wanting to really hit things, get back into the swing of things for Christmas. Because like I said, it's really fun to be making videos for the channel at the Christmas time. We're going to try and get the fed set up and start doing like a show of some kind. I'm not really sure what. And we're going to try and tackle these 110 NW opening videos we need to do. But for now, thank you guys for watching and goodbye.